A little bit of background on Vallasis is aspiring to be as large as Hometown Values right now. Vallasis is the largest direct mail company in the world. I'm going to have Michael give a little overview, their plants, how big they are. They're massive. You might have heard of Advo. Ever heard of Advo? Advo was sold 7-8 years ago.
Yeah, about 8 years ago.
That to this company called Vallasis. You might notice this red plum.
Oh, yeah.
Red plum is what shows up in your mailbox every Tuesday with this wrap, and they make their money by basically selling the local grocery store inserts primarily into the wrap. And then the wrap is just nothing that the red plum wrap just basically delivers where they make their money. Well, these guys, in a quest to reach out and grow their business, they're looking for ways to develop partnerships with people like us. Because guess what? In my opinion, we're hyper-local, and in my opinion, Red Plum is junk mail with regional national stuff. Right?
Value mail.
And I've talked to you about that, right? I mean,
No.
regional and national.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of respect for this company. Just like Valpak's a very big company. I'm just saying, we're hyper-local. I can't get any regional or big guys because it's just me and my little 5 zones or 10 zones or whatever you got around your area. But guess what? These guys are looking for ways to partner, and I'm excited to have them share some sales opportunities with us about DAL cards. How would you like to have the ability to sell a detached address label cards 52 weeks out of the year? Like when our magazine came out January 27th, 28th, it wasn't great timing for the health club people, the diet people who really wanted that January 1st, 2nd. I now have an option for my local club to sell through these guys, and that's what we want to explore some channels. So, Michael, come on up.
Cool. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Thank you. Yes, it's so funny when they said red plum, there was a couple moans in the room, so I certainly understand that. So thank you very much for having me. I really do appreciate it. Like Jim said, we reached out a few weeks ago, and this timing worked out perfectly. So what I thought I would do today is share with you a little bit about who I am and what I'm trying to do and why it's relevant to helping you make more money as a publisher. I'll talk to you a little bit about Vallasis. I'll go a little bit about who we are. I'm pretty sure you have heard of us or know who we are a little bit, so I won't spend too much time there. But a lot of it my time will be spent on some of the innovations that we've made in the last year and 2 years, and how we think partnering with companies like yourself can really help us as our industry and as our business grows into the next 10 years. We see, and just a little side note, we see partnerships like this as a way to enhance our vehicle, our mail vehicle. We don't think it's going away, and so we think that there's a lot that we can do together to help grow and expand. So a little bit about me. I've been with Vallasis for 7 years. My actual title is Director of Shared Mail Innovation. So what that means is I take a look at our existing assets and our products and try and come up with enhancements for those to help our customers really grow and increase their profit and revenue. And a few years ago, I came up with a new way to use the detached address label. So to just give you an idea, we took our DAL, which we had gotten rid of because the post office had increased the surcharge so high. We eliminated that product. We brought it back as a premium product, but now we also do variable imaging, messaging, and offers by house. So we take people's customers' database, and we take third-party data, and we do household-specific variable data cards. So I'll show you a couple of these just to give you kind of an idea. Like this is one that was for Keurig, and there's a specific barcode, or there's a specific code by house. So when they bring it in at the cash register, they punch in the code, and then we can tell them who redeemed that offer. But you can see things like got ones right here. So this is one that we use. I won't get too far off base here, but so this is for like a t-shirt company. So they're selling to the Murphy households, or to the Mays, or to the Welleses. So everybody is name specific, house by house, based on the information we have. So the reason I'm showing you this is just to show you that we're thinking of print innovations. We're not looking in. I'm not going to tell you about the latest app and latest way to do email. Like this is about our industry, and this is about growing and prospering within the postal stream and how we make money today and really growing and innovating together. So I'll share more about the DAL and what we're doing and how we can expand with you, but really the reason I reached out to Jim was because I believe we've got a system that helps you make more money, and he saw that as an opportunity, so that's what I'm here to really present to you. So a little bit about Vallasis. We are a $2.8 billion marketing services company. We do everything from direct mail, shared mail, to in-store digital products, and then we also have a newspaper network. The thing that we're probably best at is creating networks and expanding on networks. Our share mail network within the postal stream, our newspaper network within 15,000 newspapers that we work with. Within digital, we've got our own ad networks and a complement of products there. And that's kind of our theme, is building and expanding on networks. So this year we decided to grow one of our latest product innovations, and that's our hyper-local network that we're trying to create. And that's why I'm here for all of you folks. So what we did about 18 months ago, we reached out to companies like yourself to try and create a partnership and create what we're calling Red Plum Hyperlocal, or Red Plum Local is what we call it. Because we saw the same thing that Jim saw. Like in our strategic planning sessions, we started to look at ways, knowing who we were. We are value mail, not junk mail, and we are filled with content that is just what Jim said. We're mostly, national and regional in focus. We're heavy with grocery. It drives the weight of our package. And we've got a lot of national brands, Rite Aid, Little Caesars, Jets Pizza's really local. You get into like the Procter & Gamble's of the world. I mean, that stuff is very, it's stuff that people look for and they want. But we know now that print, where one of the greatest drivers is in the hyper-local focus. And instead of us creating and getting into your space, that's not really what we would do well. Like companies like us have tried and failed. We tried a program called, we did a Valpak offshoot called Super Coops, Mail Coops, and it failed miserably. There it is, right there. And it failed miserably. And so we realized that for us, the best way that we can do this is expand on our network and try to create a network of like companies where we can basically get into the hyper-local market, but at the same time offer you the benefit of increased frequency, giving you additional mail dates, giving you ways to increase your revenue. Hey, maybe there's an insert that you'd like to sell, or somebody wants to expand, and you sell an insert inside of our package, which is an expansion of maybe one of the ads that's in your magazine. Or, there's another product that we came up with, which is, we call wrap replacement. So basically, we took a company in Michigan, and in our Minneapolis market, they were looking to expand. So what we did was they created a magazine. This magazine became our wrap, like that. So they sell it. They do all the hyperlocal. They sell all the ads inside of it. We do have a cross-sell initiative if we sell a client. But basically, we block the dates, and they create an 18 to 24 to sometimes 32-page book that goes inside of, that becomes our wrap, as opposed to, it gives us hyperlocal focus instead of the national stuff that's on here. So, but the idea again is, the idea for us is to really just to show you, and we're in discussions and kind of talking this through about what works best for each area publisher. I mean, there's not, one thing doesn't fit all, but the idea is to show you ways that we can work together and innovate, and that we're not a threat. I mean, we're not looking to come in and, take the hyper-local sale. That's really not what we're here for. We're here to kind of buy into it, I guess, if you will, and expand upon our reach. Okay? So a couple of things that I'll talk to you about, a couple other products that I'll show you. We also created an automotive vehicle. Works on full-page ads. stuff like that. So the idea is, again, giving you additional products and ideas that as an area publisher, you can look at expanding on your relationship. Currently today, we've got about 10 to 12 companies like you that are in our network, mostly on the East Coast is where we've really started. Save on Everything is a company that's out of Detroit that we work with. They do a product like wrap replacement, and then they also sell our detached address label cards. The average individual sales rep on their team who sells DAL cards for us averages about $1 million in sales per person per year. So it's a pretty sweet program. Our idea for the detached address label, we call them variable data cards. That's why I stumble a little bit, because we call them variable data postcards. But our reason for the DAL when we came out with it was we wanted to launch it, and our big win for our customers was to try and get them into household-specific targeting and really get them into name-specific variable imaging, messaging, and offers by house instead of just reflooding the market with DALs. Because had we done that, the post office would have put us all out of business for DALs. They don't want us there. But we probably try to sell around anywhere between, our max will be about 30 to 40% of our publications would come out with a DAL. Currently we sell about 10%, but that's about 500 million cards a year. We went from 0 to 500 million cards in 3 years, and 60% of them are variable image messaging offers, which is awesome. So yeah, go ahead.
Can I point something out?
Yeah.
So just some of you guys are new. We pay the post office a postage rate, currently about 16.6 cents, I think it is saturation rate for our magazine, right? That's our magazine cost for postage to go out. A detached address label card is basically a giant sized postcard, right? That's on the outside, doesn't get inserted, does not get inserted, it's on the outside. And if you choose to sell one of these to a local customer, guess what? Now the postman has to deliver the magazine and has to deliver the DAL card, so they have to touch two pieces. So there's a thing called a postage uplift, code name for an increase. Basically, if you have a magazine and you do a detached address label card, it's about a 3.5 cents, I think it is, postage uplift. So if you did a 15,000 mailing zone and you did a detached address label card, it's about $510 more to your postage bill, okay? But think of it this way. If you can go out and sell, maybe you've got someone who's doing solo mail. They're doing their own postcard right now. This is the kind of guy you're looking for, because you're going to walk in with a solution to save him money. And if he's doing his own solo piece, he's printing his piece up, he's designing it, he's printing it up, and he's mailing it all on his own dime. What do you think? It's conservative to say they're at 25, 35 cents an address, 40, what, 50?
35 cents minimum.
They're 35 to 40 cents an address. You can walk in and say 20 cents.
Yeah.
Walk in at 20 cents, literally knock a dime per address off this deal. You'll turn around and sell the front of the card, the back of the card. Your graphic designer wants maybe 75 to 100 bucks to do the artwork on the front and the back of the card. Your postage uplift costs an extra 510 bucks. You don't have to tell him that because you already paid for the postage with your magazine, that the DAL card really only costs 4 cents for postage, or 3.5 cents, whatever it is. Ultimately, you might be into the design, the print, and the mail for somewhere around 11 cents per DAL card. If you sell it for 20 cents, you've made 9 cents per address times 15,000 pieces, which is how much? Who's the mathematician? $1,400 profit you just made on one DAL card. Does that make sense? That's a lot of information coming at you, but ultimately, there's a cost to do this. But right now, if I mail Hometown Values 4 times a year, I have an opportunity to do a DAL card with that magazine 4 times a year. The other, 48 weeks out of the year, I don't mail in Lake Stevens, Washington. These guys mail 52 weeks out of the year. They own, is it safe to say you own Tuesday? Vallasis owns Tuesday in the mail?
We're the largest customer of the post office.
There you go.
But the math is what got us back to. We had originally gotten rid of the card because it was just too much, but we reintroduced it as a high value, very special card for special customers. When we sell them, we address the card, and when we don't, we address the wrap. So it's a huge score for us. We do some cool stuff, like this would be good for, talk about like hyper local. So this is something that we do for or for farmers insurance agents. So on the one side, there's, I'm gonna pass them out. But on the back, so this is their business card. And I don't mean to talk about the business card guy that was just here, but you can, now you find a way to distribute business cards. So it's kind of cool. So kind of neat, huh?
And a lot of these guys, I'm guessing with farmers and Allstate, could potentially have co-op dollars available.
Yeah, individual agents are huge, and I've got a couple more here.
Do we have the capability to do the preparation?
So this would be, this is stuff that we would do. The idea of the pitch, I guess, is that you would do it through us. We would do it, manufacture it, and then distribute it with our product. So yes.
Is the preparation a lot more?
No, it costs about 5 cents more per home to be able to do that. It's not much.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's for a car that's you're selling for 20, you sell for 25, and you're right there.
So we can only do, I don't know if you said this, Jim, we can do one DL card per magazine.
Yeah, you can't.
Correct.
You cannot do more than one, the post office will not allow it.
The
Right.
post office is already grabbing that DAL card, which has the address. So one other thing is on the back of your magazine right here, this little white area, if you have a detached address label card that goes along with your magazine, you no longer need that. I'd be selling it to an espresso stand or something. That could be an ad space now.
That's
because
smart.
They're gonna
That's
take the
super smart.
detached address label card, and that's where they're gonna put the physical address. They grab the DAL card, the hometown, put it on top of it, other mail, stick it in the mail.
Can I throw something in here, Jim? I was just gonna say, I don't like being pigeonholed as anything when I walk in somewhere. And I had found that in the community, one of the communities especially, Kirkland, it's a high income community, and just people think they're cool in Kirkland, for lack of a better term. So I kind of got some of the nose turned up, you're a coupon company, we don't need to coupon type attitude. And as sort of a way to battle that a little bit, I started walking into every place with a magazine and a DAL card, because it gives them a little bit less of a chance to try to put me in a box. And I say, we're a marketing company, we service your area, we've got a number of great options. And I tell them flat out about the postage savings. I tell them, I could sell you cards cheaper than anybody else because I get to split the postage with this magazine right here. I actually explain the program and say, look, this is a great product, but if you want to go bigger and try something more ambitious, nobody can beat my prices here because I'm cheating.
Yeah.
I'm mailing this out anyway. So I tell people flat out why it's going to be cheaper for them.
We say it's a loophole. We say it's a loophole in
Yeah,
a postal code. It makes it a
sure.
little bit softer for them, but
I kind of describe
Yeah.
it that way, but I like to
Yeah.
walk in with both. And another thing is it softens them up on the price point for the magazine, because they always grab the card and go, ooh, this is nice. We can do it for as low as 20 cents, which is a third lower than anybody else. Oh, but that's $3,000. Well, let me look at the magazine then. And then all of a sudden the magazine prices become a lot more
That's
palatable as well.
That's framing.
True.
Yeah.
the single greatest new business driver for Vallasis last year was our DAL. People were using it to get in the door, and so 40% of our overall revenue last year from our DALs came from completely new customers,
Brand
people
new
who had
business.
never done business with Vallasis ever. We were upwards in the $50-60 million range, and so 40% of that. So get back to the math guy. Sorry, go ahead.
So the suggested rate is 20 cents. How does that compare with the EDDM if,
Great question. So the EDDM program, their postage alone is 16.9 cents. Now we in the market, we sell our DALs for a little bit less than you're selling them for. But again, it's beachfront property. So once they have 16.9 cents for just the postage, for somebody to print it, put them all together and get them to the post office. The lowest I've seen those programs is usually in the 29 cents per home range.
So if you walk in at
Yeah.
20, you're great. You can make money at 15 cents,
Yeah, I just say 20 because I want to make $1,000 bucks.
Right.
Yeah.
I can go to 18 and make money. My first time I ever quoted somebody, they had a quote of, they were like, we got a great deal, 26 cents a car. I just kind of went, ha ha ha.
I can do it for 25.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
It's different than stolen. Do you go down the carrier route with them? Is that how you deliver, or you deliver to the full zone?
No,
Is that what you do?
Wait, I'm sorry?
When you, because you're selling in zones, how do you sell yours? Is it a DAL, the DAL go to the entire zone, or does
Yep.
it go, okay?
The DL goes to the entire,
So-
we do 15 and 30K blocks.
Yeah, that's right, that's.
So the big issue, like we have talked about a few times with Scott, is each market, each hometown values has a different personality and feel. There might be a zone that mails to single-family homes only and has a lot of apartments that we don't mail, which is great for home improvement kind of guys, so to speak. There might be a market, like one of my markets, man, I'll mail to every home, apartment, trailer, cow, anybody who comes to town, I'll mail to them to get the 15,000, right? So, everybody's kind of different in that complexity, where, would that matter at all if, let's say, Susan's zone mailed to single-family homes only, where Ty over here, his zone had homes and some apartments, not all apartments?
Where you would run into issues with running a DAL, and again, the way that I understand your coverage is that we'd have to look at the saturation level of what you're mailing to within those zones. That would tell you whether you qualify or not. But the idea would be then, if you don't qualify, that you could backfill with a product like ours. So,
So would it have to be 100% saturation rate, or?
we do 100% saturation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
we
we
do.
have some that are high density. We
Yeah,
just do.
okay, yeah.
So your DAL card would need to go full saturation?
Ours
or
goes, it does.
You zone it by zip code?
We zone it by, we call them ATZs, or advertising targeting zones, and there are sub-zip codes, which are clusters of carrier routes at about 3,500 homes.
Okay, so you,
So there's some education that would have to definitely go
Sure.
about
So what-
publisher to publisher, so that you knew exactly what
Okay,
what you
so
could do.
just For,
Go
let's
ahead.
say I have a really hyper-local store and really small radius, and you had a zone that was 3,500, that
Yeah.
could be that small?
Yeah.
Oh, good, it's not the full 42,000 addresses that
No,
are
no, no, no,
in
no, no,
sketchy
no,
county.
no, no, no.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it is the product was designed to help be able to go down to smaller quantities for us, because you're competing against that solo mail dollar, which they can do carrier route saturation, they can do individual houses, so.
But is the postage break still the same? I'm getting confused here, because if she's getting a card to 3,500, but we're getting that break because we're doing it at the same time that we're doing 15,000 homes out, right?
Yeah.
We're looking for alternate ways to do that,
The
because
other
everybody only do it
magazines.
4 times a year.
yeah, so right now, just to clarify, if you, let's say you had hometown values 4 times a year, and you had someone want to mail their in-home date over here that didn't match up with your mail date, you would sell a DAL card through Vallasis. It would be a Red Plum DAL card you would be selling and making a commission on, that
Yeah.
would run
There you go.
and
yeah,
be
yeah.
on the outside of
That's what
the Red Plum product. You're selling a DAL card, it's probably not gonna say hometown values on it, it's gonna probably say Red Plum. The client doesn't care, they just wanted to get those homes. You just made some money by having an alliance with Vallasis.
The only way they'll know the end consumer will know it's Vallasis.
It's
Is-
Renisha, probably.
No, actually, what we do now, like in our indicia, it says Vallasis today. So the samples you see will say Vallasis. We've actually changed it though to just a straight V. So nobody will know there. You will have the opportunity to take the Red Plum off. So we would remove the Red Plum on there. We wouldn't be able to put hometown values on because it would screw the postal carrier up. So, but I'm just saying that then there's a small little thing underneath our version codes that say distributed by Red Plum. That's it. That's the only thing that would cost out.
So really what we're talking about here is that first month of or week of the month, I get to send out a D card with my magazine, just to make the schedule simple, we'll call it the first week of the month. You're talking, we have a guy that says, I just wanna do more than that, we can say, okay, well, the other 3 weeks a month, you can go with this one.
There you go.
That's simple.
So
Yeah,
how's
they're
it-
buying it through you. You're coordinating it all. We have a process
So
in
so we partnered with Red Plum to offer you more frequent advertising for when we're not specifically mailing.
Boom.
Probably partnered with
Small
Vallasis.
Or
You said
what-
you said 3,500, right?
3,500 is the
They're-
smallest.
It's the smallest, yeah.
That's a pigeon.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's talk postage. So, is that card is carrying the postage for the whole Red Plum package then?
Yeah, yeah, so when we,
So are you cutting us a break, you know what I'm saying, on the postage, or are we paying for all that postage
have
out of
the-
our profits, you know what I'm saying?
no, I'm not, I don't know what
Okay.
you're saying.
So that postcard is gonna carry all of your product, but yet we're selling that card, so are you, what's the deal, I mean,
Well, Red Plum is carrying it by itself right now, that's their postage, and if a DAL card goes with it,
right?
there's the postage uplift of, is it 3.4?
It's 3.4 today, it'll be 3.5 in April.
There we go. It's almost like we know what
There's a
we're
postal
talking about.
increase coming
It's 3.4 cents
Increase?
uplift.
Okay.
Well, it's coming, it's the post office, not me, it's
Right,
the
right.
post
And
office, yeah.
since you sold the product,
Yes.
you would be responsible for that postage uplift. So you would have to basically,
Oh.
correct? You would have, if Renee sold it through you, she would print through, she would have her designer send you the art, or your designers would do the artwork, or our designers
Your
would?
designers would do the
Our
artwork.
designer does the artwork.
We would do the print
You
and
the print-
distribution with our product.
And the print
And yes,
mail.
you pay a certain price, then you charge the customer a certain
Okay,
price.
so it's an extra 3.5 cents, that's gonna be our portion of postage, is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay, because I'm trying to figure
Yeah.
out,
We'll provide a rate card to Jim for the entire
We'll get
network. Yeah,
numbers
yeah,
on
you'll
this.
get a print and
so
distribution
how
number.
much profit are we actually gonna get? That's my question. What's it gonna look like? If we say 20 cents a,
It would depend on the
You-
size of the mailing.
You'll probably get
station.
about 50, I mean, if you, our charge was around like, what, $100, somewhere around there? Do you want to?
You're talking, to clarify,
Yes.
if you did printing and postage and paid Pete, or your graphic designer or
Yeah.
whatever, and you add it all up, let's say you're doing 5,000 of these, or 10,000, or 20, or whatever it is, about 11 cents a piece, cost of goods.
Yeah,
That's print and mail, and so anything above that 11 cents, if you charge 15 cents, you don't make as much money. You charge 16 cents, it's better. You charge 20 cents, now you got the difference between 11 cents and 20 cents. What you're charging your customer 20 cents, your cost is 11 cents.
Will you have reps selling e-cards in the same markets? Will we ever run into a conflict where we think we got somebody sold and you've already sold it?
it's potential that, yes, they could have, here's how we would work it. So we have a cross-sell program in place that we worked out with our other vendors, okay? Of all the times I've been doing this, we've run into 2 times where we ran into an issue, and they were larger national, like franchise groups, where they had additional, like we called on the entire thing, and they had some local guys, that was it. So what happens is you'll have a guy, you would call and say, hey, listen, I want to sell ABC company in this area. We would check the availability to make sure the dates are available, because again, your real competition is not necessarily us selling you the same business, it's us selling the same space. Making sure the space is available.
So that DAL card may be sold already.
Possible, yes.
So we'll check with individual account reps to know in our areas for the whole year.
We have a separate individual person that's set up to handle like the process side of this whole thing. But again, remember I said we only sell about 10 to 12% of our entire 64 million household footprint. Like, so we're not, it's not really the design of what we do from a DAL
So is
perspective.
it one size?
We offer yes, sorry, I was just gonna say, yes, we'll offer you one size plus probably a couple of like the add-on things that we do, which you saw
What is
the
the average
perforation.
size?
They're 5 by 8.5 is really about what they are. So,
And it's one, print on one side, or do you?
no, 2 sides, color both sides.
so they can both
You
sides.
can sell it to 2 people.
We sell it to one client, but yes, you can sell it to 2 people.
So we technically sell.
Yeah, we're selling it to you. You can put whoever you want
so we
on
could
it.
technically put, if we want 4 business cards on each side and
Sure.
charge whatever your graphic designer puts on it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And
totally.
just to be real clear,
Like this.
a DAL card just printed front and back, that's, let's say 11 cents or whatever, print and mail. If they start doing this thing called variable data where it says like, hey, Jim, interested in going to Lake Tahoe with your family and kids, and it names your kids or whatever it does, you're like, whoa, Big Brother's watching me. That's a different
Yes, we are.
product, that's a different cost because of the variable. I just want to clarify that there's a DAL card, your graphic guy builds it, that's great. But you start getting into messaging where people's names, it's funny, I had a client of mine actually got that postcard you just showed about, there's some company that'll take your last name and they'll put it on a hat, they'll put it on a shirt, it had like the canoes or whatever it was, like, it was
Yeah.
looked like a lake house type thing. He was throwing it away. I said, can I have that? That's really cool. And I was gonna call up the company to find out, because I obviously pretty quickly go, look, it had his name on it. His name was John Hayes, and it says Hayes on it, on the hat, on the shirt. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Some company mailed that to you, and they knew your last name. I'm like, I wonder if I can get one that says Lee on it for my family. And yet, and you just showed it. And I'm like, well, there it is. I mean, it kind of impressed me. That was the power, I guess, of there he is.
Yeah.
Why don't you pass those around?
Yeah, I'll pass
I have
it.
a subscription to Entrepreneur Magazine, and there's a big national print company that did something like that, and I was just like, it was like leafing through the magazine that I got at one time, and it was like a huge, it was a full page bright ad, and it was like, I forget exactly what it was, Cameron Johnson Marketing. or
Yeah.
something. Like it had my full name, and
Hello.
it really, it jumped out, you were immediately like, whoa. It was a little creepy, like how do these guys know who I am?
Yeah.
I have a subscription, which is how they knew my name. But it was also like, I still remember that ad.
Impact.
You know, it was definitely impactful.
What are you
Because it
looking
was in
for in an
print,
ad?
I wasn't looking for them to know who I was, so
Yeah,
to speak.
the idea behind why we created this was just that same thing. We wanted variable printing and variable data to be more affordable to the masses. So the idea that this is another example, like this is a customer and non-customer, but it's the customer, a trading value for the year and make of their, to get them into a new Ford vehicle, and then somebody, more of like an acquisition piece for somebody that they don't have, and calling out like the type of car that they have, the type of rebate that they would get, and that kind of stuff. So there's all, the possibilities are really kind of endless with that, but that can be a little bit more complex. But again, we're gladly, that's part of what the whole, I mean, from a bigger picture perspective, that's what our partnership, what we want to offer and value. So.
What's it look like for further education? I mean, is that through you or?
Yeah, so I have a team of people that work with me, and then we'll work with you on an individual publisher basis and kind of work through, what's the best solution for you? Is it selling DAL cards? Is it expanding and helping you understand maybe some of the data and resources that we have? Is it inserts? Is it the wrapper placement? What really fits and works for you and through Jim too. So.
What about lead time?
Lead time on that particular product?
Well,
On those, we have an inventory system, so we're booking out for now and the entire year, but we typically do around a 4-week lead time, 4 or 5 week lead time, so around there. But that's going to be kind of flexible, but that's about right. So,
And that card is still standalone, it mails not in the, it doesn't mail inside.
goes just like this. So the postal carrier, just as you were describing earlier, does exactly this, and then they take and put it in the mail. So yeah.
It's basically solo mail, but
Yeah.
it has that.
We call it,
piggyback
yeah.
effect.
Yeah, we go acquisition with loyalty benefits. So yeah, I can, oh, you've got it, you explained it now?
The little clauses on all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the little
Yeah.
statements must be placed, that's why you get to split the postage.
Yeah, you've got, so the idea with this is what the postmaster does. So Newman grabs his cards in carrier route walk sequence. He looks at the address, and he puts the stuff together and puts it in the mailbox. That's it.
Or else you're supposed to tell the postman, or whatever. This wasn't all in the magazine.
So probably a lot of questions. Mark, go ahead.
Okay, so just to kind of wrap my head around it, we have about another half an hour, I think, still. We go till 3, is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
we got a little more time, but
okay.
Mark's giving rush time.
Yeah, I was giving you the wrong time signal, sorry about that. But, okay, so the opportunity is a weekly opportunity for us to have an added income stream. It's a weekly opportunity.
You got it.
52 weeks a year, great. When we publish our books, the only way that this is gonna work with when we publish our books, like what we're used to, I've done a DAL card in my area. I think I'm the only one in our region that's done one. It's for 100% of our books that go out. Now, if I sell to a client that's only gonna do 5,000 on a DAL card, the other magazines for our publication, when it's going out, and it's not gonna go out on a Tuesday, how is that gonna work? Or is it, these are two separate things?
I really do see them as two separate. Like, I wouldn't, you're coordinating to make sure that the ad's going out around the time that they need it to go out. But I would think that you're sending your DAL with your magazine, and this is when you need expanded coverage, you need an expanded date, or you need something that,
So you can help us with our DAL card for our magazine, when we do our magazine, and you can also.
I think the DAL though with your magazine, I think you've got
That's
somebody, right?
different.
That's
Yeah,
different.
so
You'll have
just to
somebody for that.
We
So-
clarify, we have selected printers that we work with, the printers that support our East Coast and Southeast network, which is nobody here, so you don't really care. They will print DAL cards very competitively. Journal Graphic, Greg, who spoke up here today, they have not competitive rates for as a large printer, they are not competitive in the space in the world of DAL cards. So we have to go somewhere else to get those done. This becomes another resource to do that kind of stuff. Michael and I are talking about the issue of what if they print in Michigan, we have freight to get out to, you know, wherever your place is. Those are some logistics we have to work out. Right now, I look at this as 52 weeks a year, the ability to sell a DAL card or a variable data card through their network, and we can make a profit off of it. We're
Yeah,
kind
there's
of
another gun in your belt when you walk into a place.
yeah, we're kind of
That's great.
piggybacking on each other. You know, I'm still gonna focus on my magazine and growing page count, because that's the most profitable. But with some focused attention, you can find the right client, the right person, and it's usually very specific time frames. You want the health clubs wanna be out there January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, right? Valentine's people wanna be out there, you know, a week to 2 weeks before. If you have a magazine, how many of us, you know, like this last issue, maybe we had a January 28th mailer, I couldn't get my health club to come in, right? A month after the big push was a little too late. But now I have an option to maybe sell him if he's interested in you know, doing a solo piece like that. It's gonna cost more. In fact, it makes our magazine look that much more valuable from a cost per home standpoint, solo mail versus shared cooperative mail, you know?
One of the things you'll find with this too, I think I already mentioned the new business side of it, but from a category perspective, we also saw a great variation in the types of categories. We don't do a ton of financial institutions, although we were just purchased by Harlan Clark, which is a check company, so it's changing a little bit. But you know, credit unions were a big one for us. I pulled a bunch of like hyper local stuff that we have done, like taxes and financial services. This is stuff that we typically don't get inside of our inserts. So it could be a revenue stream in a business you walk into that says, oh, I don't want to do that. I mean, we get that all the time, but we sell that when we're like, well, wait a minute. You know, if you don't want to be a part of that, would you like to be on your own?
Card?
Yeah.
Cold call on them right now.
There you go. You can pass. Actually, you can pass all those around if you want.
So training and samples would be available.
Training
Now,
samples.
This is kind of a national convention, not everybody's here, but
Right.
what if you know, we could pull together the Seattle Puget Sound people, could somebody hook up with the guys in California, North Carolina, Alabama, those kind of things?
I have people across the country. I travel quite a bit, and so this is the kind of stuff that we do. We've got a support staff that supports the entire initiative. We've got a sales group that will help with training and staffing. So
Tell me about billing.
Uh-huh.
Let's say that I was able to secure, and let's say we just did a 10,000 starter piece or something, and it was a solo piece, nothing to do with hometown values. How does your billing work? Do I get charged? You're gonna send me a bill because I'm collecting from my client?
in this case, you would tell me. You know, you're saying like for the DAL straight up, right?
Just
Okay.
DL.
Yeah, so in this case, yes, I'm going to give you a rate. You're going to make the spread on what you charge the client. So yes, I'm charging you for print distribution and that stuff, and then you charge the client. So you'll have that. As far as like the actual billing, that's up to you. I don't know how you guys would do that. Would I bill each area publisher, or do I bill you?
We're just kind of exploring options, you know, I can
Okay,
tell you,
okay.
I can tell you one thing, you'd basically, just a real tip, if anybody sells a detached address label card, because it is a, you know, let's just say you get 18 cents times 15,000, what's the math? That's a lot, that's what the answer is, it's a lot, it's $2,000-3,000.
$2,600.
$2,600, so if you sold at 18 cents, that's $2,600, there is no terms. If this guy's gonna do business with me and buy this thing, I wanna check on the barrelhead or a credit card or something right now, because I have to have that money, because I am responsible to pay for that printing and that postage uplift. There's still that profit left in there. If cost me whatever, 11, I sell it for 18, I make 7 cents an address. But just make sure you're extremely vigilant on your collection efforts and terms with something like this.
Amen to that.
So I've got a question. This all sounds really intriguing to me. The only thing that concerns me, and don't take this the wrong way, but
I won't.
the threat of a big company coming in and just using us as a sales force to prospect. They don't have to hire anybody, they don't have to do any work, we're out there prospecting. And then all of a sudden I sign up a guy and somebody calls him back and goes, you know, you can cut out that middleman and buy from us directly since we make these anyway.
Yeah, that's a great
Are there
question.
protections built in there?
Yeah, so when you secure a client, we put you into Salesforce that is your client. We do business with, like I mentioned, we've got 10 to 12 of these guys across the country, and people have created national Salesforce and local Salesforce do that.
Yeah.
But we also deal with a ton of ad agencies who have the exact same concern. Like they come to us and say, wait a minute, what's gonna stop you from going in and giving different rates to Cox Communications or whatever? And part of that is just, we'd be dirt in the industry, but but there are internal protections to make sure that you're covered off on, so,
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
A follow-up similar to that, though, is I assume you're talking to other companies similar to ours
Yeah.
in the area. And so what protection are you gonna put ahead that I'm walking in at 20 cents, the next guy walks in and says, I can do that for 19 cents, and it's just a race down to your dime?
Yeah, for sure. So as far as like others in the area, especially up in the Northwest, we don't have anybody else that we're talking to or working with currently. This is the first
We'd
time.
be notified if somebody else comes in.
Yeah, if we work with somebody else, we'll, because again, the
Well,
the overall
people
idea.
come in, so
yeah.
how do we stop it from going right to your dime, because then at that point, you're the only one that.
Yeah, we've got a manufacturer's suggested retail price that we want people to sell at, and that they kind of will lose their license to be in the network if they go below that.
It's
I
15
can't
and a half.
fix pricing. Like I can't tell you we're all gonna sell it for this and make money. I can't do that. But as far as like other people that come in and race down to the dime, I mean, we would just remove them from the network and wouldn't have them be a part of the process. Because remember, the overall idea is this is phase one. What we'd like to do in phase two is be able to figure out a way to sell into each other's publications. So where we can offer on-page products and we can offer things to our clients that kind of sell into your publications, some of our larger clients, because people will look for, they want to be near the hyper-local stuff. That's what I thought.
When you say sell in the publication, you mean actually in the magazine?
Yeah, we'd like to eventually be like able to sell.
Put
within-
national brands in Hometown Values magazine.
Eventually.
Eventually, this is a stepping stone.
We're hoping, yes. We're hoping that this is part of a working relationship together where we sell and, or you guys come up with something new and we can kind of be a part of that.
Okay, on relating to this, did you say there was a minimum of 3,500?
That's what our zones, if you will, they're 3,500 minimums.
And we have the option to send it out in the mail on a day other than when Hometown Values magazine is mailed?
Correct.
And what's the maximum we could go? Could we go 15, 25, 30,000?
Well, we've got 66
64
million
million.
households, so if you want to sell that,
Does the price go down if you have an increase in
we
mail?
don't. So what we do, so whether you buy 10,000 or 10 million, we
Price
charge
is
the
locked
same.
in.
We charge the same rate,
Okay, and you said
Yeah.
the recommended price was 15.6?
15 and a half.
15
15 and a half.
So you did
minimum.
15,000 on a date that Hometown Values doesn't go in. What would be the average profit margin?
Well, based on what we've designed for you is,
Well, my suggestion is just think of it this way. Think of a standard DAL card that's not Hometown Values, it would ride along with Red Plum. Print and mail, print design mail, we'll call it 11 cents. If you sell it for 16 cents, you make a nickel. Jerry times the number of addresses. If you sell it for 20 cents, you make,
Just under a dime.
there you go.
there you go.
I can tell you one thing, it's a new revenue stream we didn't have until we started opening
Well,
up this discussion.
This has a ton of potential, but I need to make it more information, educated. make
Well,
it
for
make
sure,
sense.
yeah.
And I can, off
Yeah.
the top of my head, I got a half a dozen businesses that would be very interested in this for the simple reason that we miss dates that they want to hit home with.
There you go.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. I mean, today, again, what we have talked on the phone, this is the first time we've met in
Sure.
person. This is the best time to get in front of all you folks to kind of give you an idea of what we were thinking about, what the concept is, and what the overall, value proposition is of being together. But here, put it this way. You don't know me and I don't know you. I mean, a lot of this is partnerships are built on trust. I can't just walk off the street, say go Hawks, and all of a sudden everybody's, my friend, right? So I might get a few people in this area.
Not in Boston.
Yeah, no, we're not, right? So anyway, and my other thing was, has anybody already used I'm only here so I don't get fined? Did
Yeah.
anybody already use that? I figured that had already been used, so I decided to leave that one out. But my whole point is that, hey, listen, this is the first step in a partnership that we hope is a long-term partnership with you folks and with others like you, where we can help expand your networks and theirs in really growing in the postal stream. We think that there's a ton of value. We're not seeing response rates dramatically decrease, even though everybody's looking for the next app. We think that there's a ton of value in what we all do today, and that's what we're here to try and help you with. So yes, there's individual training that have to go on. There's individual circumstances that I'm sure I'm not addressing today, but that's what we'll do. That's what we've done already and grown.
Quick question for the two of you guys, I guess. Is this sort of thing that where an agreement is signed and on an organizational level, or would we each be doing this on our own, or?
Well, I think we'll come up with a concept, right? I mean, the idea is to really almost, I mean, this is what we do with most franchise organizations.
A program that's
Yeah,
built already.
right, exactly. So we built it there, so there's some consistency across everybody and that you have, but it'll be fully transparent too as to what whatever dealings we have, we'll make sure that everybody knows what it is.
Well, when can we test market?
Well, let's get something together today.